Hey everyone, another self-isolation bonus video where we're going to the past, taking a look at those old commands from the 1980s and 1990s in Pro Engineer. In this video, we will be taking a look at the general blend command, and this is one of the obsoleted features. If you want to access this command in the interface, you have to go to File, Options, Configuration Editor, and you have to change an option, and that option is Enable Obsoleted Features. The default value is no. You have to change this to yes, and then you will be able to use the command search in order to find the videos, or you could go to File, Options, and then for the, which one is it in here? It is the ribbon. You can customize your ribbon and add those commands. In my particular case, I added them to a custom tab on the common global tab, but you could create another different tab if you want. You could add them to one of your other different tabs in here. So again, we're going to take a look at the general blend command. And this one I am a little torn about. I was kind of surprised that PTC obsoleted this feature because it has some uses to it. But let's take a look at it. With a general blend, it's essentially a loft. You're going to be able to create a feature between a bunch of different curves and sketches. Let's go to the command. You'll notice that there is a drop down, and this is also how Pro Engineer used to work back in the day. So for example, if I wanted to create a general blend, I had to specify up front what kind of feature it was. And one of the disadvantages of this particular workflow is that you couldn't change the nature of a feature after you made it. If you created something as a protrusion and then you wanted it to remove material, you would have to delete the feature and create it over again. Also, the way that you can specify essentially a wall thickness inside of a protrusion or a cut, well, those were their own separate features, the thin protrusion and the thin cut. And here's the option to generate this as a non-solid feature, as a surface. And so you can see there are a couple other ones that are grayed out in here, the surface trim and the thin surface trim. So again, this wasn't great, and it was a big improvement in Wildfire 1.0 back in, oh man, I'm dating myself here, 2003, I think it was. In Wildfire 1.0, you would just create a certain feature, like creating an extrude, and then within the feature you would choose whether it was solid surface, whether it would remove material or not, or if it was going to have a thickness to it. But again, let's go back to the general blend, and I'm going to create a protrusion here. Then we get the menu manager, and you can either sketch the different sections or select the sections. If you take a look in the graphics area, I had to create a whole bunch of different sections in here. In another video, I will show you the sketch sections option. And that's the one where I'm really torn about, where it's just like, hey, it has a certain je ne sais quoi. It has a certain capability that you don't find in other features in Creo Parametric, so it might have some use. But on the other hand, I struggle to think of use cases for the sketch section option in here. And again, I'll show that in another video. Back when we used to teach this in the Pro Engineer classes, I think they used a faucet as sort of the use case for that one. But anyhow, let's get on with the show. Let's select a bunch of different sections. And right now, I have to click Done for selecting that option. Here we have the old school model dialog box from the Pro Engineer days. The first thing that wants me to specify is my attribute. Do I want to have straight sections, or do I want to have smooth splines connecting my different sections? I'm going to choose smooth and then click Done. And now we're prompted to select our first curve that we want to use. I'm going to use this one over here. You'll see why later. And let's choose select loop. So I just select one of the curves in here and it grabs all of them. And you'll notice that on one of the vertices, there's going to be an arrow. It does not matter which direction the arrow points. The arrow is just to call your attention to that particular vertex, and that one is the start point, and that's how you ensure that things line up between different sections. And also back in the day, one thing that people really hated about Pro Engineer was how much you had to pay attention to the menu manager, and you're always hitting done and done return out of here. So that's the first section. Now for the second section, let me use the select loop option again and pick an edge over here. And it looks like the correct vertex was selected for the start point. Let's choose done return out of here and then done. And now I've got enough sections. You have to have at least 2 sections to create your blend. And it's asking me if I want to continue to the next section. I'm going to say yes. Let's add a few more in here. Let's choose select loop and then pick one of the curves over here. And in this particular case, now the start point is on the wrong vertex. Let me choose start point and pick the vertex that I do want to use. And now it's located on the correct one. And I've got a bunch of other different sections in here. Let me show you a few different things. I'm just going to select the next 2 sections real quick. All right, I added 2 more sections in here. It's asking me if I want to continue to the next section. Let me click the No button in here, and then I will click Preview. Again, you didn't get the preview until you were almost done. If you zoom in and zoom out, you will get more of a solid preview. And there you can see how it's connecting the different sections together and interpolating between them. And this is one of the disadvantages of the feature. See how it's going from this section to this section over here? Both those sections have the same sketch. They're both squares with a length of 8, but because it's interpolating between the sections, it ends up bulking out over here, and there's not really much that you can do. Actually, there's nothing you can do about that. But let me click OK out of here for a moment to show you that I deliberately skipped a section over here that I want to use. So let's see how you would fix that. Let's select the protrusion and then edit definition out of the mini toolbar. That gives us the model dialog box. Let's double click on section again. And I want to insert a section. I want to add a section. Let's click the add button over here. And now it's asking me which section do I want this to be. And so there's section 2, there's section 3, there's section 4. Okay, I actually want this one that I skipped to be the new section 4. And again, you hover over here to try to figure out which one it is. So I want to add a new section 4. Let's change to select loop again. And I want to grab from over here. It got the right start point. Let me hit done select and then done. And again, we can preview. Oops, I have to hit done out of here. It just barked at me. Now I can preview. And we can see how it's going to go through there. Let me add another section using the wrong start point and show you how to fix that. Let's double click on section. I'm going to add another section. And I want it to be the last section, so I can just choose the last choice out of here. And I think it's this one that I want to add over here. Let's say that I have as the start point this one. I know that that one's definitely going to be the wrong location. And let me hit done return, and let's add another section in here. This will be section 8. Select loop is really not saving me that much effort, but shoot, I can't remember what's supposed to be the start point. I'm losing track of things. So let me choose that one over there and click done, and done out of here. Let me click OK. And it's like, whoa, we can see that, yeah, we definitely do have twists in here that we don't want. So to get rid of that twist, once again, we are going to edit definition. And let's double click on section. And first I'm going to go to the last section that was correct. Let's go to section 6. And I can see, okay, I can see that's this vertex over here. I'm not actually going to make a change to this section. Let's modify section 7. And then I see, oh yeah, okay, that's the wrong start point. Let's choose start point over here, and then pick that, and click done out of here. And let's see, I think I want to add in 2 more sections. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's choose done. Oops. And you can see why people had trouble with this. Let's choose add. This is going to be section 9, select loop. Let me select over here. Yep, that is the right one. Let's choose done, and add one more in here, and this will be section 10. And let me choose here. Oops, I forgot to choose select loop, so now I have to do 3 extra mouse clicks. First world problems. All right, let's change the start point to this vertex over there, and then done, and then preview. Yay, it is created. Let's click the OK button. And there we have the feature created. Again, it's interpolating between the different sections in here. I'm going to turn on the display of one of my datum planes. Let's use the show button over there. I'm going to use that for doing some cross-section mass properties. Let's go to the analysis button and then use the mass properties drop down to go to cross-section mass properties. And I'm going to select this plane over here. And there we can see the cross-section over here. And this is 69.06 square inches. So again, all my sections in the middle are 8 by 8 squares. We don't get a straight section in here because we are using the smooth option. Let's click OK out of the cross-section mass properties. Let's take a look. Can I even use the straight attribute for this one? Let's select the protrusion, edit definition, double click on the attributes element, and then change this to straight, and then choose done and OK. And there you can see now we are getting straight sections in between here. If I go to my cross-section mass properties and then pick over here, we can see that, yep, because I'm going from an 8 by 8 square to an 8 by 8 square, we are getting a cross-section of 64 square inches. But again, this looks really weird in here with the various different straight sections that we have. Let's go back to the protrusion again and edit definition. Let's double click on the attributes and change this from straight to smooth. And by the way, notice in here right now there's only 2 lines, attributes and section. Once I change this back to smooth and click done, we have the additional option of tangency. Let me choose this, and it says, hey, should the blend be tangent to any surfaces at the first end? That's why I created these other 2 extrudes in here. Let's click yes. And it's highlighting an edge, and I can use query select, tap the right mouse button to select the surface that that edge should be tangent to. And same for this one, and then same for this one, and then same for this one over here. Now it's asking me, should it be tangent at the other end? I'm going to say no for now, and then click the OK button, just to show you the difference in the 2 sides without having tangency. You can see here, yeah, you know, it's smooth going from the extrude into this one over here, but you can definitely see over on the other side how it does have sort of a kink to it, especially on that inner surface over here. So let's edit definition one more time. I don't know why I'm selecting out of the model tree instead of the graphics area. Let's double click tangency. And here's part of the pain. It's already tangent at the first end. I have to redo those selections if I want to make it tangent at the first end. So let me use query select to get that, and then this, and then this. Hopefully you see how it is highlighting one of the edges in green. Should the blend be tangent to any surfaces at the other end? Oh wait, actually, let me click OK out of here because I do want to show you that now that we have it tangent on one side, let's do our cross-section mass properties again. Oops, that's regular mass properties. Let's go to the drop-down cross-section mass properties and select my plane over here. And so before it was like 69.06, now it's 68.98 for the cross-sectional area. So making it tangent on one end actually had an effect on the interpolation in the middle of the feature. All right, let's click Actually, here's another thing to show you. Instead of using quick, I can use the drop-down list and create this as a feature. Yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, but this is a bonus video because we're all stuck inside. I changed this to a feature, and let's go to the feature tab. And right now it's going to create a parameter called exsec area over here. Let me go back to the analysis tab, and it's going to call this section, I'm going to call this exsec, just so that's easier for me to remember. Let's go to the feature tab over here. Let's change the name of this. I want to make this really easy. Let's just call that area. So that's good. Let's click the OK button. If I want to see the cross-section area on the screen, there's a couple different ways I can do that. Let's go to the Annotate tab. Let's go flat to screen. I am going to create a note, and let's drop about over here. Now I'm going to use ampersand, which means, hey, go get the value of a dimension or a parameter. And the name of the parameter I want to retrieve is the area. I don't know why I'm doing all caps. Area, and then you're going to do colon, FID, and then underscore. That stands for feature ID. And you're going to either put the number of the feature or the name of the feature. If you want to figure out what the feature ID number is, you can go to the Tools drop-down, and let's choose Tree Columns out of here. And I can add in here the feature ID, and then click OK. And I could see that, hey, I should use FID underscore 663. If you don't want to do that, oops, let me go to the text editor. If you don't want to type in the number, if you don't want to add that column in there, you can type in the name of the feature. That's why I renamed the feature, and be sure to use the correct name of the feature. Okay, area, colon, FID underscore cross section. And now let's change the height of this so it's big enough for us to see. There we have our cross-sectional area listed in here on the screen. I should probably add in some other text to indicate what that number is. The other thing is you should be able to display that in the model tree. Let's go down over here and choose Tree Columns, and maybe I don't want to see the feature ID. Let's get out of there. Let's go to the drop-down list, and I can choose feature parameters, and the name of that parameter was area. Let's add it in here. I'll click the OK button, and there we can see that, hey, as we're changing the model, we can see how the cross-sectional area is changing here and also changing over here. So again, a couple other additional tips and tricks. Let's make that last change to the model for the tangency. Let me select the protrusion, edit definition, tangency. Yes, we want it to be tangent at the first end, and again, we have to select the surfaces that we want to use. Should be tangent at the other end. Let's click yes and pick this one, and then query select to that surface and query select to the back surface. All right, so 68.981. Let's click the OK button out of here. Now it's 68.901. So again, as we're making changes to the tangency, it's changing our cross-sectional area along the length of the feature. So again, that's the first way to use the general blend. In another video, we will take a look at the second method, which is to sketch your sections inside of the feature. And that one's going to be a little bit longer. I'm not going to do anywhere near as many sections in that video. So how would you do this if you did not have the general blend feature? Well, probably the easiest way is in ISDX, create a style feature, and then you can select your different sections, and it will loft between your sections in there. Alternatively, you could do something like using some variable section sweeps with multiple trajectories. There are other ways of doing this, and yeah, the other ways give you a little bit more control over the geometry than you have with the general blend. I suspect that maybe PTC never updated this feature and obsoleted it because they didn't have enough use cases, and updating the interface to the modern dashboard would have just been a huge pain in the neck. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this extra bonus video. And of course, thanks to all the first responders out there, thanks to our doctors, nurses, and hospital workers, and thanks to the people who are getting food to our grocery stores and the people working in the grocery stores. Stay home, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you very much.